I know a place where the lines do not meet. It is there that these lines go endlessly. Take a close look. There is an in-between always. Take a closer look. The walls never touch. Here, in this corner, lies the infinite.
Moments, to capture moments. Where does the tough go when the going gets? There is no space in my fridge. I've made so much lemonade. When you go, there are no maggots, no rats, no tattered billboards. There is no grisly end to plaster the throwaways with, though there is plenty of wine. Corks line the bar top, and we sell up the sunset and quietly move on with our lives. Thank you. Derek's pretty great, so that's nice. This is called Where We Left It, and it's for my friend Talia. A wound shade bloodstain on West London concrete. You at the back of the poetry night with a shaved head, inked flowers cascade down towards your neck. Wound shade. The colour of embarrassment. When you ask if I am gay and my cheeks say, you wore board shorts to the office. I wore battered Docs and Adidas just in case, small signals of our kind, symbols you cannot mistake. Somewhere, we are in motion on a swing set, on our lunch break. Leaning so far back, our feet block out the sun, eclipsed. I crane my neck and watch the dancing trees. Admire the changing space between the branches. We are discussing loyalty and the inevitability of the lesbian U-Haul. Dragging our souls against the playground's scarlet rubber. Swing our big kid legs in the air and hogging the seats for 45 minutes, watched only by the women who own pushchairs and the pigeons that land on them. You tell me that good people do dumb things, like jobs they really hate, like ketamine and poetry. You probably tell me that all the kinks in the chain smooth out eventually. I print off punk slogans and memes I know you will appreciate and leave them on your desk. You ask if we are grown-ups yet. Swing our big kid legs. We talk about our newest dreams. You lend me Zadie Smith, I lend you Hanif Abdurrabkid. We share a spliff behind the Prince of Wales and you fall asleep on the toilet floor during the pub quiz, and for a moment, everyone thinks that you are dead. I think you are a masterpiece. I make damn sure the company know which docs to purchase for your leaving gift. For years, you turn up to every gig that I invite you to. As it stands, we are last words exchanged in a messenger chat, discussing illness as a bit of an inconvenience, a conflagration raging on the inside. I imagine your fingers typing on the other side of London, black nail polish, rubricating, swiped cynical side notes telling me it is what it is, Daisy. Online, and responsive, unmistakably alive. It is the strangest march, and yet I can still take my own hands outside. Stroll around the park and bite my nails and see nobody at all. What difference does it make if the world goes quiet now? All right, and I'm going to read just one more, which is from the anthology. Thank you so much for joining us here. This is Furious Life. It is autumn, in the same way you might dream about a dead friend. Crisp, biting. By day, bright skies, unabashedly blue. The market is on, and nobody acts as if they have lost anything. Darling, wagging creatures dart between my legs with muddied underbellies, and there is still curiosity in the world. Your grin, the only truth I dare to trust, with both fists curled around a set of handlebars. I pull off and feel every year that I have lived, of cycling towards you, two hands clasped to the metal. 93 million miles. And when I next look, there is cinder beneath my nails. Thank you very much. Derek Yao, everybody! That's nice that that's done. Oh, nervous. Thank you so much, Derek. That was absolutely fantastic. Right. So the format of the evening, we're going to have another video, and then I will invite the next artist onto the stage. So there will be videos and then performances. So our next artist, we're very lucky to have them. It's going to be accompanied by a dance film by the Leipzig artist Olivia Braunholz. And it was filmed by Teresa, so thank you very much, lots of talent. And it's Cleo Henry is joining us tonight. Cleo is a writer and a researcher based here in London. They're particularly interested in queerness, archives, and the apocalypse. We like all those things. And we are living most of those things right now. Their first pamphlet, The Last Lesbian Bar in the Midlands, is forthcoming from 14 poems. Please give a round of applause for Cleo.
I want easy money, soft money, third eyelid baby's breath money. I want money that holds me, money water to swim in, meet cute money, catch my eye, make me feel young. Like post-it notes, born by accident, a commercial failure till free samples hit Boise, Idaho, and each surface a greedy palimpsest, and the right amount of bad comes good again. I only want the train to take you wherever I am, which is, of course, Boise, Idaho. Scabby skin of potato fields, the second I realise I need something that sticks, but not quite. And beyond Idaho, nothing. Only fur-lined money in an edgeless meadow of green.
Please keep it going for Cleo.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much to Colliding Lines for inviting me here and for featuring my poem. This is so exciting. I've got a couple of poems for you. The first one's called Etiology, which makes it sound fancy, but the content warning is fisting, so that's where we are, gang. So this is called Etiology. And 2 blocks over, someone's son is dead. A river is called after him. His name on a plaque 50 miles from where he died. Burning cold, the sky is hibiscus red. When they dig him up, rebury him 2 blocks down from a dyke bar called after someone's girlfriend. Leather digs trenches into sweaty shoulder skin. Posted faces peel into last month's shows. The bar closes when the meteorite hits, and still for months confused dykes stumble from the forest to look at the crater. Which is where we met, baby. Locked eyes over tarred remains of the first and last lesbian bar in the Midlands, and dinosaur carcasses. Your curtain bangs singed and millennia ahead of their time. I like to laugh against it. We tell this story so differently. Like it wasn't 2 blocks from here, your fist was inside me, in a building condemned when a chimney sweep skeletons clattered to the ground floor hearth, like a flash of laughing teeth. Nothing dangerous, just a reminder of the whale we live in, who is probably called after someone too. And 2 blocks over, Leia Delaria is on Conan, teaching Natasha Lyonne how to fist. And that's how we learn. The strap of her wristwatch cuts through the air, time falling to either side of it like an opening eye. Thank you. I'm going to try something now that I haven't actually read aloud before, partly because it's a question and answer, and I am but one man. So imagine I'm two men. That'd be great. It's called The Record. Oh, and also if you have a really in-depth knowledge of Sex and the City, this is going to be so much better. What do you remember? It was me and Cynthia Nixon, after she ran for governor, but before the airing of And Just Like That, in which she revisits her iconic character Miranda Hobbs from Sex and the City. Governor of what? Of New York. She was still mad with the blood of the race, and she wept when we reached the pit. Which pit was it? The pit with all of New York at the bottom of it, gleaming like a freshly punched face. What could you see? Not much. The navels of a few small fires, a couple of guys jerking each other off, some snail shells. What did you do there? Cynthia was beside herself, crying a lot and pointing out bits of sidewalk from under a Dykewell's awning, from her wedding day, from her first on-screen kiss with David Eigenberg, all in the slick melee of Soho's smashed ass. I did the same, although I never actually went. Who is David Eigenberg? You might know him as Steve, a bartender. Do you know him? I don't know anyone in New York at all which is actually romantic. And were you the attacker or the attacked? I don't know, I can't remember. How can you not remember? It was dark and I was alone. What about Cynthia Nixon? She'd gone by then. How can we know for sure you were there? You can smell it on me, if you'd like. If you'd like, come to the pit with me. Like me, lose 3 of your good teeth to the pit, if that's what you want. I don't want that. Well, what I want is to be alive only as the footprints of a killer are alive, to be touched by a gloved hand and told firmly where I've just been. I'm sorry I dragged you here, away from your lunch, but you are always almost vanished, just beyond where my throwing arm can reach, on a good day and with the right wind. You're always doing that. Note it for the recording, that you do that a lot. Thank you. I think the question thing went fine. Yeah, great, cool. Yeah, fantastic. I'll do that more. Here's another one about lesbian clubbing, sorry. I don't do very much else. This is called Distant Boats at Discos. And basically, I just one day thought, wouldn't it be really funny if you looked out over a dance floor and you just saw a horizon of boats, like a harbour? And so that's what this is. Beyond our heads, licked wet by the bar's coarse tongue, and our plum-drunk bodies, dancing hard and buckle-struck, the sightline heaves with boats, the whole horizon a jostling harbour. The stack's rough breath rubs the tacky ceiling grey, leaves itself for weeks in our good shoes' laces. A drag king's strap keels to the boat's north stars, a bright rubber sundial telling us all where to look, when to look there, each smear of light returned to us fourfold by the disco ball flanks of holiday paddle steamers. Bruised blue by fresh denim, 2 bull dykes go home together. Practice together longshoremanship, the hauling in, the long looks west. West is where the boats look too, dreaming of all-American road trips in the surf. A letter marked "Flee, all is discovered, the only thing left in a wind-bitten hold." I believe this is what all crossroads end up looking like. The last lit part of an emptying town, a party with its ear turned to a distant foghorn. Their brushed steel cries are our cries, their delayed departure our own. And beyond them, only more horizons, each lapping the fringe of the last like a morning. Thank you. And I've got one more for you, which is, I don't know, I guess leaving as highbrow as I came on. It's called Each Time I Piss on Hampstead Heath. Each time I piss on Hampstead Heath, I think about my ancestors. All our various insides chucked outside, seeding a mottled grass. I'm a weather vane, scrabbling for north, flapping over a knotted brow of dense and serious roots. Apparently, the park keeper, on seeing the crucifix, the man up on it, his bulging shorts and the leather-trussed disciples crying at his bleeding feet like black seals basking on a darkened beach, only said, "Clean up after yourselves." The morning found a hole filled in and honest, the men a fine and lifting mist. In the bush's green guts I piss, listening absently to a distant birthday party, thinking about who died and when, and what the soil keeps of them, and how Danae got knocked up by golden shower. How surprised she must have been. Imagine me, a mother. Thank you all very much.
One more time for Cleo Henry. That was utterly fantastic. Thank you. Utterly highbrow. Thank you. Right, our next performer, she might need a moment to get ready, to get some props. And while she's doing that, I'm going to give her a bit of an intro. Don't mind this. Iris Colum, if you haven't come into contact with her work, buckle up. Iris is a poet, a performer, and a curator based in London. She has given interactive and durational performances online and in the UK, Germany, Austria, Romania, France. Don't know when she was doing all this, not in the last 2 years, I hope. And these performances have involved human collaborators, as well as many intriguing props. She has been caught shouting over hairdryers and turning audiences into poetry machines, which is nice. I don't know what's going to happen next. A microphone just for the little bells, I think. Iris is also the founder of the investigative poetry and performance platform Slant, a member of the interdisciplinary collective No Such Thing, and one half of the performance duo Soft Play with Peter Ingram. Her work was also published in the first Colliding Lines anthology, so she's a friend of Colliding Lines. The anthology Home is unfortunately sold out, so maybe get this one tonight, just in case you want to get this before it sells out. Without further ado, that's fine. She's causing trouble already, I love it. Without further ado, please put your hands together for Iris Colum.
Union is an element of the imaginary unit. You and I, conditional expectation. You and I, if and only if, approximately. You is not an element of I, is not an element of you, is not an element of I. You and I, symmetric difference. You and I do not intersect. You and I implies distance. Distance is greater than you and I. Distance is parallel to indifference. And you and I are less than parallel. Indifference is much greater than you, is much greater than I. You and I, standard deviation, empty set. because you and I are greater than the imaginary unit. Does it watch? Does it touch? Does it twist? Does it move? Does it search? Does it change? Does it build? Does it drop? Does it tear? Does it push? Does it trick? Does it rest? Does it roam? Does it see? Does it run? Does it lead? Does it grow? Does it leap? Does it slip? Does it start? Does it flinch? Does it string? Does it stay? Does it bore? Does it count? Does it reach? Does it quiet? Does it need? Does it make? Does it cheat? Does it reason? Does it sense? Does it heave? Does it follow? Does it notice? Does it? Does it chase? Does it drift? Does it stall? Does it go on? Does it? Does it riddle? Does it steer? Does it feel? Does it stick? Does it turn? Does it miss? Does it play? Does it riff? Does it act? Does it try? Does it hang? Does it drain? Does it work? Does it pray? Does it dread? Does it melt? Does it know? Does it strand? Does it wince? Does it bite? Does it mind? Does it stop? Does it glare? Does it cope? Does it wish? Does it kick? Does it doubt? Does it follow? Does it tolerate? Does it? Does it dry? Does it crave? Does it shoot? Does it carry on? Does it? Does it yield? Does it shift? Does it trip? Does it strive? Does it sway? Does it rip? Does it switch? Does it long? Does it jump? Does it shake? Does it float? Does it strike? Does it think? Does it flee? Does it tell? Does it hope? Does it stir? Does it hurt? Does it leave? Does it plead? Does it pause? Does it grasp? Does it cry? Does it quit? Does it strain? Does it find? Does it fold? Does it risk? Does it choose? Does it hold? Does it cave? Does it sink? Does it face? Does it follow? Does it hesitate? Does it? Does it touch? Does it change? Does it drop? Does it still go? Does it? Does it trick? Does it roam? Does it leap? Does it string? Does it start? Does it count? Does it chase? Does it sense? Does it make? Does it steer? Does it stick? Does it riff? Does it hang? Does it stand? Does it dread? Does it mind? Does it doubt? Does it cope? Does it shoot? Does it shift? Does it sway? Does it jump? Does it strike? Does it tell? Does it hurt? Does it plead? Does it quit? Does it fold? Does it hold? Does it care? Does it follow? Does it entertain? Does it? Does it watch? Does it move? Does it build? Does it tire out? Does it? Does it push? Does it see? Does it rest? Does it lead? Does it flinch? Does it stay? Does it reason? Does it need? Does it quiet? Does it rid? Does it miss? Does it stall? Does it drain? Does it work? Does it play? Does it wince? Does it glare? Does it know? Does it yield? Does it dry? Does it wish? Does it strive? Does it switch? Does it shake? Does it think? Does it stir? Does it leave? Does it grasp? Does it strain? Does it choose? Does it follow? Does it question? Does it? Does it twist? Does it search? Does it tear? Does it get there? Does it? Does it run? Does it slip? Does it grow? Does it bore? Does it reach? Does it cheat? Does it heave? Does it drift? Does it feel? Does it turn? Does it act? Does it try? Does it pray? Does it melt? Does it bite? Does it stop? Does it kick? Does it crave? Does it trip? Does it rip? Does it long? Does it float? Does it flee? Does it hope? Does it pause? Does it cry? Does it find? Does it risk? Does it sink? Does it care? Does it still go? Does it? Does it follow? Does it intimidate? Does it tire out? Does it? Does it direct? Does it function? Does it get there? Does it? Does it struggle? Does it remember? Does it carry on? Does it? Does it scrutinize? Does it manipulate? Does it go on? Does it? Does it touch? Does it trick? Does it count? Does it chase? Does it stick? Does it hang? Does it strand? Does it doubt? Does it shoot? Does it tell? Does it quit? Does it cope? Does it kick? Does it trip? Does it hope? Does it build? Does it fall? Does it watch? Does it need? Does it stay? Does it rest? Does it flinch? Does it miss? Does it drain? Does it glare? Does it shake? Does it leave? Does it twist? Does it grasp? Does it tear? Does it run? Does it reach? Does it slip? Does it drift? Does it try? Does it melt? Does it find? Does it sink? Does it face?
Which I spent. It is really by the different stopped. This expression, also my king, which leaves presence. Something is to be reclaimed, aesthetic, sacrificed process, how it orders suffering, which I spent both over the chairs desperately, which leaves and runs away to follow without ever, at this moment, putrefaction of who accepts. I believe the petrified gets rid of eternal through the music comes rarely. Searched every, he doesn't see presence. The something is to be reclaimed through this which is born. To compromise this which he described music and sometimes the froths, the moment defensive. Some days I wouldn't presence. The unhappiness, something is others with tomorrow. Tomorrow presence, the something been this way, 19 continued, presence, the live, laugh without you. This subjective, the little book which he, very sensitive, a clever much later and swallowed. Others tomorrow. Others with constant, its antisocial rage of knowing. Do you have to add, do you have anything, he says, agonizing? Been this way, a single execution. Deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineated, restlessly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, regardless, deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, dejectedly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, restlessly restrained, restlessly delineated, restlessly restrained, restlessly delineated, restlessly restrained, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, regardless, relentless, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, restlessly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, regardless, relentless, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, regardless, deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineating, restlessly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, regardless, relentless, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, restlessly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, regardless, deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, dejectedly restrained, restlessly delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, restlessly restrained, dejectedly deliberate, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, resolutely reflective, definitely deadlocked, regardless, relentless, decisively determined, reticently resonating, desolately delineated, desolately resonating, reticently determined, decisively relentless, regardless, deadlocked, definitely reflective, resolutely desiccated, designedly restricted, reactively deliberate, reactively restricted, reactively restricted, reactively restricted, reactively restricted, designedly desiccated, designedly restricted, restricted. Thank you.
One more time for Iris Kalom. We are now going to take a very short break just to tidy up and prepare for the next act. Not just to tidy up, but it was a conscious decision to put her at the end of one half. Please go get a drink. Feel free to buy a copy of the book. It will be quite a short break while we just set up, and we'll have a slightly longer one in a bit. Buy the book. See you in like 5 minutes. Thank you.
full-on struggle. I know it's going to be over soon. I know you've chosen it.
Exactly.
That's not a real struggle. It's not like you're not having a bad time. And there was something like
Where's the...
Probably outside maybe, like,
Some peaks over mountain peaks. A mirror lake cracks to let light snap back and blind, bracing. Resist the still breaking and open your eyes. This morning is beautiful. Steeped in late night dreams you stretch and step towards the wind-kissed edge. Shout your name to distant range and sober up that mountain trail till ears pop and knees bend. Give prayer to Beauty Bear before you check your phone for signal. It's time to breathe. I see this canvas candid and we're a blot on the landscape, but we travel light. We may tend towards complexity, but if you listen carefully there's melody in each leaf as it breathes and the wind as it leaves. I'm not a star child with eyes wide, but we came here to become here. Embrace the counterpoint to entropy, the universe experiencing itself subjectively. In geological strata whose shoulders we straddle, there was life before us and will be after us, so leave your valuables behind. All that matters is the single pinpoint that you see before you now. So be present, be apparent, be nothing at all if you can. Burn your relay flare bright and fade with grace and peace into the night.
Have a lovely break? Yeah. Antosh had a lovely break. I think that one's you. Welcome back. So we've got a very special performance next. Our wonderful, the founder of Colliding Lines, Wes Freeman-Smith, is going to be performing a very special set. He's always behind the scenes, making everything run incredibly smoothly and having these wild ideas like KINETIC, poetry anthologies, and some such nonsense. But we're indebted to him that, without him, none of this happens. He's got a proper bio. I'll stop waffling. He's an event producer, a live arts facilitator, as you know, and the founder of Colliding Lines. His other projects include Catching Shadows, which is a spoken word and sound art band, which we're going to be hearing from now. He enjoys putting text and text-based things where they shouldn't be. And he lives in Cambridge at the moment. What you just saw was a dance by Adina Dumirascu, and it's found in the anthology and the QR code if you wish to use that in your copy. He's going to be joined by Teresa, and I hope you enjoy it. Catching Shadows.
Hello, hi. So the reason why I'm always behind the scenes is I'm absolutely terrified of what's about to happen, so please bear with me. Blow out the candles, bundle clothes in book boxes to distribute weight, sew souvenirs in shoe boxes and pass once through the city, touching street lamps for luck. No sequels, no remakes, just a cult fiction script penned on envelope back. Lettered sweetheart, never sent. Where your personage fails, may legend succeed. Jot an easy scan synopsis and Guardian review, embellished. Initials on a park bench that sitters miss, one wish that wishes this. That friendship's long and memories deep, one keeps that relevance longer. One hopes to be tangled fondly in your coattails, in roomy grey and bitter gold, casting relief so blind it lights the shadows high. Forget the middling and the kindling, just carry forth the torch, incandescent, eradicable. Those could have beens and keynote scenes are a township, so flex those muscle memory maps to find the trails burn bright when left behind. Suffuse the scene with sunrise and cut. When leaving the premises without watching the credits, one hopes to be remembered fondly as a premise. Thank you. As that's all right. That's not going to help. I'm just incredibly quiet. That's it's basically just a small cough that's happening over a very long period of time. So yeah, it's all good. Right, I'm going to try to do it without my phone, but please excuse me if I'm very millennial and have this like in my hand at all times. Conceived in a storm on foreign shores, she was a love letter unread. A growing unrest in the marital bed, a line between lovers unsure of their course, and of course, you are not the cause, but this tidal force carries us forward, and it's here, between nowhere and somewhere, you began. Your mother ran through flames, put continents between, fought demons her partner drinks to drown, just so one day you can look around and say, I'm home. And if you ask where your father was, I'd be lost. But all I can say is that he was wrong to leave you. I can say that you are, were, and will be surrounded by love, and if you ever feel abandoned, you are enough. I'm not your father, but I cradled you in infancy. And whether or not you see, or whether or not you need, I'll try to be enough for you. Thank you. Cool, thank you. That was lovely that you clapped and stuff. Thank you for that. It's always good when that happens. Silence would be terrible. Yeah, it would be a lot worse. Okay. In monsoon-sieged valley town, cradled in wishes, we fell into its arms. Sunset, we rise, and if these stolen moments hold a semblance of grace, it's in these pills we take. And if it's hard to hold, dissolve, precipitate this vestal state, our seance summons ghosts to break. We see them circling before they enter. Electric sparks pass between each heart, possessed. Surrender. It begins. There's music in the air and alliterative fictions. Touch flows to tips trembling, our tongues drugged and tripping. We were torn from our notebook and spoken aloud. Whispered in sibilance, this hot skin sun-kissed. We wrap our secrets in it. We are ecstasy, unraveling, sinking into sickness and sweet, suckling, breathing sweet nothings. We never need sleep, we never need sleep. I hear a banjo tango and words interweaving, shorelines lapping. Lips part your ocean heart, enrapturing, stray beneath its waves. We, shape-shifting and free, we flee into it. Oh, that wasn't right. One moment. Come into it. Comatose and overdose. Into. Unravel. Overwhelm. Undo. Sheets wrapped. Stuck. Bound. Undone. Freckled and sweating. Your skin is honey dripping. Eyes wide and. Sorry. Excuse me. Freckled and sweating, your skin is honey dripping, toes tipping and eyes wide shivering. I can't come down, I can't come down. You're the lie that my heart follows blind, the high that eclipses mine. I'm writhing, tessellating, I want to feel what you feel. Mishear inflections, miscarry objections, surrender to the sender delivering redemption and stay close to this moment, supple and stumbling. I want so much to believe. Chest heaving against the flesh of the evening, I listen for its last breath leaving. Let's tarry here in this twilight until our worlds come down. Thank you. Right, so I am going to welcome Teresa to the stage for another wild experiment that I haven't done before. Teresa is going to be, this is Teresa, she's lovely. So it's probably quite apparent now, but she'll be playing piano, amongst other things. But yeah, so this is, we are part of a sort of band, sort of small group who do soundscapey poetry type stuff. There's 3 of us at the moment. One of them she's still in Mexico.
No, she's in Cyprus at the
She's in
moment.
Cyprus.
No,
Okay.
that can
So-
change quite quickly again, actually.
Okay, so Teresa lives in Leipzig in Germany, and Christina lives in Cyprus, but sometimes Mexico. So it's like a really good formula for having like a really solid band there. So yeah, this is us doing a thing apparently. So
Just testing that everything's working. That's working. That's working. Great.
every love is a religion. It begins with revelation before ritualized, sacrificed. We become our prescriptions. Our scripture a shorthand for long faded visions. In innocence this temple built. In ignorance we took our pills. A magpie lights and cherish, jealous, protect the palace, speak your semblance, lay pillow over. Don't say his name again. For in this town now we are witches, we are pulling at stitches. She didn't trust the place that raised her or the names it gave her. And who was I? Just another stranger trying to save her, and what do I know of love? I know that if the gods above see you as I do, they'll forgive us. For in this twilight, we candid in the candlelight, caught between curfews, curtains closed, and I see your face dancing through facets. I see your names, dead and alive. Bring my lips to the swollen scars of your lie. This flickering light is a binding fire, and that child inside clasped his hand in mine. For those moments, we were not frightened. For those moments, we were you and me and we and we. We were mammals nesting. Oh, but it wasn't a cage, a nest we built, but a pyre. And that same fire catches, entraps. And I will take the fool. I will play the fool. I'll be white knight mistaken and phoenix fuel taken. Tired of waiting, you collude on our consumption. But if it gives you finance to cloak demons in finery, cast aside life. Cast aside the life you recognize and arise, reborn, fingerprints shorn and fly, fated, fatal. We meant those things we never said. Survivors make peace with the pieces left. And we leave without goodbyes. Thank you. That's us. So yeah, round of applause for Teresa, please. And I guess next we're inviting Daisy back on to do the whole hosting thing, which is so excellent. Round of applause for Daisy, please, for being bloody wonderful.
There is absolutely no shame ever from reading from your phone. It's more environmentally friendly, for one, and we get to see your glittery phone background, which is always nice. Thank you so much. That was Wesley Freeman-Smith and Teresa Elfine. Next up, we have an audio piece for you, a soundscape from David and Lizzie Turner, whose piece you can find in the book. David is one half of You Don't Know, a collaborative print and podcast project, and Lizzie Turner is the other half. David is the founder of Lunar Poetry Podcasts, those who know. Lizzie did the podcast A Poem a Week, and this audio is a special episode of You Don't Know, specifically for this anthology, and you can find it in the back of the anthology with all the rest of the QR codes. So, enjoy.
Maintain form in to you to your footing. It's harder than think and you.
One. It's like Chip says. Boxing is about hitting and not getting hit. I hit you, you don't hit me. 2. It's like Chip says that someone else says, fighting is about standing still and getting hit. It's somewhere between 1 and 2 that you'll find your version of what boxing is. It's somewhere around having put on 10 kilograms since I last had any aspirations at 10 kilometers. And it's all just being very slim, but feeling very, very heavy. It's somewhere around wrestling the inclination to step forward with my hands down, because that's what it's always been before. Because that's what everything had been about. It's somewhere around realizing painfully that I'd never developed the muscles needed to get out of the way quickly enough. And it's all relying on your lead foot to propel you back that throws you. It's somewhere around learning that in order to advance you need to maintain your form and footing. That if you're not careful, you'll find yourself tied in knots and off balance. Swinging wildly.
In order to advance, you need to maintain your form and footing. And it's harder than you think. It was when Chip asked me why I was thinking of taking up boxing, and was it because 1, I wanted to learn to fight, or 2, just for fitness, that I realised I hadn't really thought about it at all, and his face was straight and genuine and serious, and I know how much boxing means to him, so I wondered whether I should have been thinking about it, and was I just presuming I'd be able to do something which is properly important to people who need it. And then Nadia suggested that it might be because it's important for us to learn self-defence. So I thought, yes, that must be it. And I hadn't said anything to David about it, so he couldn't jump in to help me answer. And Chip hadn't thrown it out as a challenge, but I still wanted to offer him a response. And the three of them are the most politically engaged people I know, so I struggled to back that up with anything meaningful. And then I didn't take the idea of boxing any further. And it was when David had been getting coached for 3 months, and we started relearning how to skip, and he began sharing some basic footwork with me, and showing me what he had learned that week, and how to step using the painted lines on the basketball court as a guide, and then showing me how to 1 and 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and sitting with me to wrap my hands, removing my rings and securing my wrists, and lifting my elbow and correcting my wandering back foot, reminding me to keep my hands up, elbows in, chin down, reminding me to be light on my feet, to begin everything with a lighter touch, that my reasons for wanting to do it began to make sense.
That was David and Lizzie Turner with Basic Footwork. Their poem Basic Footwork can be found in the anthology. I like listening to audio because it reminds me of just being at home throughout the pandemic, really. And I hope those of you listening at home have got good quality headphones and are enjoying yourself. Hello to the people at home. Thank you for being with us, and thank you to everybody who is here with us tonight. I'm doing terrible lighting duty. Right, now next up we have 2 films to close this segment. First up we have a film from Nikki Marone, who is a Colliding Lines associate artist and one of the editors of the anthology. She's a writer, she's a photographer, she is a traveller, and she is a multi-slam winner, which means she's very competitive. And she splits her time between motherhood, being creative, and adventuring, and doing her MA in childhood and youth. Her debut collection, Burning Through the Bloodline, is also available for sale this evening. So please enjoy Nikki Marone.
I hope you're having a wonderful night. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, I would love to, but instead I'm going to read you some poems remotely. So I'm going to read you some poems from my new book, Burning Through the Bloodline, which, if I've been organised, you should be able to purchase a copy of if you would like to, if you enjoy what you hear. The first poem I'm going to read to you is in embryo, which you can also find in the KINETIC anthology, which you should definitely grab a copy of, especially as it's the launch night of it, as it's wonderful and has some great graphic designers and poets in it. So this is my poem. There is every chance that you will arrive laughing, with your best foot forward, name well lit on the lips of lovers, but there is more chance that you will arrive like a shotgun to the heart, wrenching claims of meant to be. As beacons collide, not coincidence but prophecy, a mighty wallop of colour and sound, a shattering cry of belonging, splitting time itself. You will arrive. And the moment you arrive, you will lose yourself. You will be a tiny star in an infinite galaxy of possibility. Crash lander, you will erupt. Air sucked back in and pushed into the embers to ignite in an explosion of chaos and uncertainty. You, star, will never stop chasing the sun, or clinging to the edges of the moonlight. As you learn the language of life, you will be fluent in bouncing back. Etch survival into the soles of your feet, hold chance in your fingertips, let it slip, grab it tight. You will free fall from rooftops, learn the art of letting go, and you will lose yourself in the free fall. You will find forgiveness, although sometimes you will miss. Hurtling back to earth, you will rebuild yourself. Your skin will become paper-cut discussions of what you should have been. Reform your skeleton into the shape of something you can come to terms with. Let the breath be the wind in your self-esteem, propelling you forward into love yourself horizons. You'll find the answers hidden between two lungs. Locked away in your chest, a story waiting to be told, the book of you. You will put the key into a safe place, a place you will forget about until the time is right, a time when you can breathe again. Wash the dirt from your sleeve and you'll translate the smoke signals of yesterday, reminisce your own future and learn to love again. And one day, you will wear out the welcome mat. Hang your hat at the door and take off your shoes, wipe off survival and push into the dirt. You will be a ghost in quiet spaces, caught like whispers on another's lips. You will burn if you need to, be dust if you choose to. As epic as your arrival, you will not know what meaning meant, or what purpose your thunderstruck heart, helium shoes and ample body had, but you will know yourself by then. You, star, will be a sun. So choose your departure carefully. Will you colour the horizon like sunset, renewed by the dawn, or be eclipsed by the dark? This next one, I should probably give you a trigger warning. There is kind of mentions of abuse. Some of my stuff's a little bit dark, so I'll give you that trigger warning anyway for a lot of it. But I will go nicer towards the end, don't worry. This is called Phoenix. I was told to wait for a man to come my way, the one who'd wear the crown and ride the golden mare, whose star would have me enamoured for a lifetime. A man so great I would prostrate myself on an altar of love, devote myself to deities of death and destruction, find joy in the cleansing fire of chaos and crumbling bricks of derelict foundations. They never stopped to warn me of false prophets, those who never learnt the difference between taking and giving, who think no means convince me, who take your reluctance for lack of conviction. They soothe salt-licked wounds at the fire inside of you, abuse the privilege of your kindness, where you learn the mantras of their madness, map scar to scar until the songs of their sadness become the lullabies that soothe your own neurosis. You will try to tame them, be the eye in the centre of the storm or the milk in their veins, but you are no antidote, no cleansing liquid. You are nothing but matter, but what matters most is you. So do not worship at the feet of those that kick you down. Stand upon your ankles and wait for you to walk. Do not seek comfort from the hands that hurt you, that stained you black and blue. Instead, rise from the ashes of your grave to be reborn, like leaves burnt bare for the fallen, stripped back like bones in shattered rib cages, air torn straight from the lungs, drowning on dry land. Because you are not weak for needing a trigger warning, not damaged, not broken, not used, not a victim. You do not stay for the ones who love you if you no longer love yourself. The next poem I'm going to do is the title poem for the book, called Burning Through the Bloodline. Probably another trigger warning for this one, so just keep that in mind. My grandmother is a bipolar who has forgotten how to go up. Wrapped in misery and malice, every memory has clung to her like tar, drowning. She spits poison in every word, and it's running through the bloodline, burning down the family tree. We are not rooted in tradition, but steadfast in the strength of single mothers, born from violent men whose hands were too clumsy to hold, so big they squashed us. We learnt to be unlovable. Malleable under manipulation, our tongues are a refuge for secrets. We fold ourselves origami in tight apologies. Strangled in self-consciousness, afraid to take up space. Our jokes, like a laugh track at a funeral, morbidly wrapped in inappropriate attire. The absent father costume I saw hanging in the store, Halloween ready, I couldn't decide who to send it to. To my father who passed through the seasons, lasting only the length of a pack of cigarettes, or to the father of my newborn daughter who took one look and ghosted us, or even my grandfather in exile. We are a pack of fatherless girls. History raised a curse and gave it my face. Now I'm afraid of something I am. I am a search party lost in the snow, clinging to broken promises. My body is a war zone fighting defective genes. Abuse and rape are the two chains that coil into helix, passed from generation to generation. And I didn't know what love was, but I'd know I damn well didn't deserve it. I stumbled into any arm that held me upright. Hell, maybe I just like to burn. Like the landscape spread before me, marked by grief and loss, I am in the belly of the beast, but before it swallows me whole, I give myself over willingly. Surrender to the pain, I process the past in patterns, recognize the monument of a memory, and try to teach myself to be free. Because I am tired of being strong. I am tired of fucking surviving this. But for you, I'll change the script. Let the light into this dark room. There will always be a new song to sing, a story never told. You don't need to cling to the edges of broken glass to find your reflection. Sometimes you'll lose the things you love. But don't look for your father in the fingers of false promises. Don't break your heart and try to use the pieces to fix another's. Don't ask who made us this way. You deserve to be loved, and you deserve what you are given. The world's a beast of a burden you no longer have to hold. So I think we'll go a little bit lighter, but this one's still a little bit dark, but no trigger warning. This one's called Your Mother is a Wild Thing. So I will try to write this out like it's not an apology. We can both pretend it's a poem and not a prayer. I am tracing constellations in the city lights with fireworks fluttering behind my eyes. You are the good days. You are the best thing I ever did. I was cursed to feel and feel and feel, to fall in love with moments, with memories, to be lost to madness on occasion. And I will tell you 1,000 times over that there is magic here, that life is a gift that will keep on giving, that the tears in my eyes are just the oceans I am drowning in. Let's pretend the quetiapine I take from time to time is the same as the iron I take to stay strong. It's the ground peg and I'm a windy day. It's the string in the hand of a child and I'm a balloon about to burst. I'm sorry that your mother is a wild thing, filled with poetry and pixie dust, who longs to return to the ocean, who commits herself to the fire far too often. I'm sorry there are days that are haunted, where I am adrift and you are the anchor. I see a soft storm brewing in you, and it scares me. These things I am handing down like blossom off the trees, careless casualties. I hope they don't wound you. I hope the brighter days outshine me, that you remember the wild ideas and adventures, that the thoughts in the duvet days are the memories that make me. I hope you don't look too closely with those curious eyes of mine. I'm sorry that your mother is a wild thing, and I think you might be too. So I'm going to do one more poem for you. This one is just a nice one to end with. It's called Otters. You woke every hour, seeking solace in the sanctuary of my arms. My heartbeat was your home. The ocean refused to stop kissing the shoreline until you swam to life. Like a shipwreck, you drifted in too early, screamed for hours at the wreckage of life, sinking every time you learnt to swim, not ready to dive, until my body became your boat. I cradled you chest-side, floated with you hand in hand. Now we lie nose to nose, intertwined and tucked tightly. My hand rests lightly, feeling the inhale and the exhale, safe. You reach sleepily, tiny hand wrapped around my finger, a pinky promise protection. I wonder if you're dreaming of my body, if you remember the rise and fall and the beating of my heart. I wonder if you know me now. They asked me if it was strange to see you, to glance lovingly at tiny toes that used to kick and beat across my ribs. Am I relieved to get my body back? Do I feel empty now? But as those feet push against my stomach, toes curling under ribs, I cling you to my chest, you rest upon my shoulder, sleep flat upon my stomach, listening to my heart like you used to. I breathe in your sleeping breath, nuzzle into softness, smile as I realize nothing really changed. But baby, this body belongs to you, no matter how far you explore. Wide and wondering, these arms will always hold you up. My chest a safe space, my body your life raft. So those are my poems. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the night and all the other amazing acts that you're going to see or have seen. Bye.
So we're not going to do the whole lights dance. We've got another short film now. Wasn't that atmospheric with the thunder coming through the kind of 360 sound we've got here? It was very atmospheric in the room. Not sure what the audio was like at home, but we also with the lightning, I thought we were just somebody was taking pictures at the back, but it was actually lightning. We now have a short film by B.B. June, who is a poet and performance maker who writes about queerness, climate justice, and post-apocalyptic hope. Their pamphlet, Critique of the Criminal Justice System, was nominated for the Callum MacDonald Memorial Award, and their latest pamphlet, Kinsey Scale for the Emotionally Fragile Queer, is available from Burning Eye Books. Please enjoy BB June.
The way you speak, not frequently, but when, with passionate abandon, how you listen, largely, thinking cap on, but not to share, not often, no. It is easier to be kind in silence and make light of your own darkness when asked. Why then? Why uncomfortable with the spotlight and the praise? The worry of being judged, but heart on thump through sleeve and poetry like sleight of hand. What is there to be scared of with a mind like that, which never stops running, and a laugh like that, and the courage of a really strong mouse, or Remy the rat, you know, the one from Ratatouille, who became a chef despite being a rodent? Do you ever feel small or big like that? Where does your wild heart go when it goes roaming? Does it always come back home? And do you? There are so many things I'd ask if I thought you might want to answer. Oh, the things I would write if I were just a little braver. There's an embroidery stitch called the lazy daisy, where you wrap a thread around the needle before sticking it back in to make a wee knot. I often imagine you lazily wrapping limbs around mine in my hammock. I feel so sharp these days, I can puncture my bubble and touch you. Lately every decision has come with a choking hazard, and I have let my mind roam but kept my body safe. I would like to be proud of that one day. I am taking my time with patience, dragging myself through the eye of a needle. Dear God, the waiting. I have not felt free since last February, but I have learned to stitch a knot with intention and how to be lazy, and to let a noose bloom into the soft heart of a daisy. My garden, where the hamsters are buried, is a season's wet dream. A silly thought. A forearm is just like a flower bed. It doesn't bend until it snaps. Some things are strung like that, but others sway in the wind and wave. You think choices are fertile soil for mistakes. Ask the ground for permission to shake it before saying brave things, worried about which bones you might unearth with your big words. Be still. If we stay here a little longer, we'll decay. We can remain two skeletons, doing what bones do so well, jumping around in the summer storms, scaring all the neighbors, spinning circles while you hold me by the radius, digging up our own graves. I could die like this, already buried deep below you. No, I'll pay for groceries today. Please, let me love you. The world is on the cusp of extinction, and my pasta, well, it's to die for. Promise. We work so well in the kitchen. I keep my knife sharp, and you bring your cocktail shaker. Get me drunk on you. So what you don't feel you have a reason to get up in the morning? This year has been the closest thing to starvation, but let me tell you, when it is over, we will feast, stomp grief into the ground and toast the dance floor burials. For now. Press your feet against my back, they get cold. I'll scold you, but I won't mean it. No, don't be silly. Put your card away. This one's on me.
I got very nervous when I saw that. Artistic license, I guess. I got very nervous because the last beach is a nudist beach, and I was like, what's happening here? Anyway, it's all, it's after the watershed, but I'm very glad that there was... Anyway, that was BB June, who can't be with us tonight because they are hiking through Scotland, which is a pretty fair excuse, to be honest. But you can find their work in the anthology. You can find their poem, Boner, in the anthology. I think we have time for a very quick break now. About 5 minutes, really, guys. Really 5 minutes. Only for those who need to go for a wee, I would say. Those who need to leave, have a wee. And then be right back here for our final 3 performers. Thank you.
until night time, which is really bad for you. Thank you. And then I took a back road home. All of the mansions and their burglar alarms were twinkling like rigged stars that would never go off. Because who can afford to burgle a mansion these days? You need artillery, right? A behemoth. Right, one sec. Does everyone know what a behemoth is? Yeah? No? Thank you, Iris. You've always got my back. Thank you. If you don't know what a behemoth is, it is like a big, weird, incomprehensible entity, right? And we're going to spend the next part of the poem understanding this entity. A behemoth was on the rooftop. We're back in the poem. It's arrowed, tail, TPing the facade. It had the head of a great white shark, eyes as deep as the heart of a shadow. It was gasping and gasping. Do you need blood pills? I started my pitch, and it sank down to my level. Opened its mouth, a tunnel of teeth. I'll feed you, but you got to buy the pills first. Around me, suburbanites had convened, humming little things, shopping lists, memories they had whilst cycling on a trike. What Angela had done to the hedge, little mutterings. And they were carrying offerings, bunting, houseplants, pies. They were all glowy and shuffling into the throat of this great white thing. I lost my commission like that, as swaths of people were swallowed by this deity. It shut its mouth and stared. I need to eat too, I said, turning away. And it unleashed a great white coo, and everything was all slowed. So empty feeling. Didn't get to my door till sunup, even though it's only a 15-minute walk. Emily's milk teeth were still on the doormat, uncollected. No one at home, neighborless, the pinnacle of privacy. Thank you. Emily's my sister. It's all right if you didn't know that. It's all right if you don't know what a behemoth is. It's all right if you don't know who Emily is. Cool. I have therapy, which is good. What I don't like about therapy is when people tell you to get therapy, when you're not ready to get therapy. I think therapy is a good thing, not against therapy, against people being like, this will fix you, and then coming at you. I had a friend who one day was like, oh, you're going through some stuff, Antosh. And, sorry, obviously we're all trying to help in the ways that we know how to help, yeah? I'm not against that, but my friend's really intense. And she was like, I want to circle you. I want to circle you, which was this kind of therapeutic thing. And obviously my head thought about like circling and got very nervous about that. And then I didn't want to talk to anyone for a very long time. So this is an extrapolation from that experience. The therapist, who I thought was my friend called Sarah, wanted me for a shape project. Circling, she called it. We will spiral and sprawl all that is going on with you. In the local desert, she draws a circle around me, and 3 men arrive, shootout style. They aim therapy cannons at me. Guns with microphones on the end. Speak your truth, they chant. This is a safe space. No judgments here. Vultures orbit above, waiting for me to be chunks. Ponder, do they want to ingest this kind of crazy? Sarah is writing her findings in pseudo-hieroglyphics in the sand. Sarah, I say, but she is deep in the diagnosis. Sarah, I yell, a sandstorm picking up. I would have just gone for coffee. My dad is a heavily assimilated Polish man. That is, he is a fully Polish man, but he is afraid of being a Polish man, which caused massive identity crises for me and my sister Emily, which manifested in various ways, which we're all working out. It's all good. But I one day imagine if basically he ignored his Polishness to the point where it tried to come back and reclaim him. The Polishness came back, and that way that manifested were choirs popping up in the little English middle-class suburb of Woos Hill that we live in. I know it sounds like a Dr. Seuss place, but yeah, Woos Hill, that's where my dad is. So this is a poem which imagines the Polish choirs coming up to get him. In every neighborhood, a choir. In every neighborhood, a choir sings for the curbed spirits of the suburb mortals, their songs bottled for our doorsteps like milk deliveries in daydreams. Dad seals the door with glue and requests that we leave via the back. Still, the choir song slips through, recounting the ash of our heroes, our daily dooms. They accompany heaven for moths below the lampposts. They ward my wayward sister and her rented shadow as she smokes a casket full of grass from a good warehouse in California in the local woods. She supplies the wrecked boys of the neighborhood who live cutting grass for our replacement lawns on the driveway voids that are replacing our very air with plastic. It's gone to shit since the choirs moved in, Dad says, who was presumed he was invulnerable in his armchair. They have reminded him that he is Polish, that he cannot slouch from the noise of his blood. Elsewhere in the low quiet of the households, others begin to hear their own ancestral song. It's disturbing. Too much feeling, too much of too much. Taking the bins out has become a matter of strife. The morning commute, a sudden guilt trip. Things were better the way they were before. Bleach the streets, tarmac the pavements. We must return them to the void. The neighbors in revolt, paving a way where the choirs once stood. Wherever they may stand, anywhere green or rooted. Some open the lid of their lawn voids and cast the choirs into them. Others opt for the storm drains. Our curbed spirits watch on in silence, drained of any hope that empathy would be restored to this neighborhood. All is quiet again. Sometimes, walking the one way of this place, you catch a sliver of a song from the gap of a bedroom window. A teenager practicing for their exam. A teacher mentoring on a dusty piano. A forgotten trumpet picked up for the first time in a century. Thank you. All right. You've been a beautiful crowd of listening. Thank you so much. I am going to finish with the poem that's in the sold-out anthology Home, so it makes sense to do it here because you can't hear it otherwise or read it until I publish it elsewhere. Thank you, Wes, for commissioning this poem. It actually solved my collection for me, so thank you. It would not have happened without catalyzing events such as Colliding Lines, so, big up. This is about a road trip with my sister. We went to Isle of Wight, which feels like a cursed place. No disrespect to anyone from there, but I did not have a good time. People were weird. And Emily, I can't drive, so Emily drove us there, and then she was like very casually one day, like, I'm not doing coke anymore. And I was like, I didn't know you were doing coke. That's okay. I was like, I love you. It doesn't change how I feel about you, but yeah. And then like, which was cool. And I was like, all right, I'm with you. I've been my sister's like contact through her working through addiction. So her and the family are not on the best of terms, and it's mending, which is great. But yeah. So I have all these poems that sort of capture moments where it's like, here's me and my sis. And on the way back from the Isle of Wight, she was driving whilst sort of pushing through E. coli poisoning. And it was a ridiculously exhausting day. And yeah, it's I'm just always in awe of her perseverance through both addiction and food poisoning received from paninis. All right. I've been Antosh Vujicic. I'll continue to be him after this. Thank you, everyone. Lost Americans. A day to exhaust all options, inhaling on the exhaust pipe at intervals to hawk up the last couple of days, meals and laughs, then driving endlessly 180 down the freeway in a scrappy vessel to find our ancestry tarmacked. The sub-bass filters out when you gear up. Swear this was America. Suck something fat blue out the exhaust, coughing. Did I take a wrong turn? We're in the red for petrol. A crooked forest of raw music notes grows on the freeway banks. We're in the river now, bro, you say, pulling into the drive-thru. We eat junk food until we are junk what we think, what we don't know what I'm doing. Why? At 180 as well. Dad calls anywhere that we drive, that we don't know, bag shot. All options exhausting. This must be it. Thank you.
Antosh Vujicic, everybody. Thank you very much. Our next performer is Robin Lamble, and we'll screen a short dance piece before their performance, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to them, and then we'll watch the dance piece, and then they will come up and perform for you. Robin is a physicist researching climate change and writes on the intersection between the natural and the human. Robin has won the UK, the Vorgon, and the Madrid International Poetry Slam Finals. Yeah. And, very good, very impressive, and came second in the World Cup Slam in 2019, which is really incredibly impressive. I really hope... A big round of applause. Love it. We'll watch the dance film and then Robin will perform. Thank you very much.
Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This is not the whole story. Look how small a fraction of a human remains after cremation. We are so much more than soil. Yes, our bones are of the earth, but flesh? Flesh is air, the condensate of clouds, thatched upright by unburnt smoke, fastened with nitrogen, which germs and now humans hew from the sky. And like air we mix. Already, the breath of this poem is in your lungs. My oxygen, now carbon-coupled, eats at your bones, which dissolve into and rebuild from your blood. For even your skeleton is liquid. All life is fluid. Evolution remembers you as a bubble of brine, sea sludge fringed with rock phosphor, both soft cauldron and book spine for your fearful alchemy. At newer funerals, they read new liturgy. Energy is indestructible. We are all stardust. This, too, is not the whole story. Though all our heaviness came from suns, the iron in our veins is not merely star-burnt, but ashest of ashes, ash of a supernova, brilliant beyond all concept, a fire beyond fire that outshines whole galaxies, and the hydrogen inside us is primal light congealed. If it passed through stars, it did so unchanged. My story is your story. Your piss runs in my blood, My soot sparks inside your skull. Your intonation colours my words. For our brains, like our flesh, are air.
Please welcome Robin Lamble.
Right, I'll start with a poem about bees. It's called Bees, spelt BS, because all the words don't begin with either a B or an S. If you could do bee noises when I do bee wing movements with my arms, which you might notice are forwards and backwards like a bee, not up and down like a bird. If you could do bee noises when I do this sort of thing, that would be great. Bees bring bounty, black-barred bodies blotched blonde by bedecking bouquets, butterflies belittled by said bumblebees, special speeds spreading stamens, sandy seeds, see busy bees bear bristly baskets, brushes, storing blooming banquets, besides, bumblebees, sound-based strategies stimulates blueberries, shy seeds, sandstorm sent scuzzing, simply, solely, by such bees. Buzzing. Some believe bees soaring sends science skiving, shouldn't be breeze sailing, but skydiving. Scientists say, BS, sure. Some solving, some simplified. Set bees stationary, such bees subside, but bees buzz. Sound showing superspeed beats sustaining soaring by spiraling breeze. Sadly speaking sustainably, some bee species seem seldom seen. Samia, several blights, strike simultaneously. Blood-sucking bugs spread by beekeepers saunter bearing still smaller bugs. So swiftning slaughter because bee breeding brings sameness bottlenecks. Shameless siblings should seek balance by better sex. Similarly, studies see beetle-slaying sprays bemusing bees. So, solutions? Some suggest breeding strays, some suggest banning sprays, but silver bullet shan't shoot straight since several sources bring such states, so start by saving bees some space. Because bees best buds, supply bees better buds. Banishing starvation, beauty so beloved supplements, stress-busting, step-supporting better species spreads. So beleaguered bees soon blaze back strong brazen bullets, blasting bassoons from because blissful blossoms save bees. Thank you. This poem goes out to all you fans of rap music and also bird watching. It begins with Eminem's Rap God as performed by a bald eagle. Then we have Kendrick Lamar's DNA as performed by an osprey. Nicki Minaj's Anaconda as performed by a condor. And finally, Mos Def's Mathematics as performed by a chicken. Up until the last, those were all birds of prey, so of course it's called Raptor, Raptor. It's beginning to be time for a raptor. Start with eagles who can rise up like the rapture, wrapped our talons around the prey we capture, capped our head with a gold crown because we're the masters. The bulge in bald eagle means white patch. I'm a bald eagle, I have no equal, yet I will keep full like I'm a seagull, because I still small bird's food hall, and I ramsack a bin like a pit bull finch. Sorry, girl, but I'm so regal, you'll believe my diet's legal. $1 bills, oh, they glow to me, so how are you going to call my lifestyle deceitful? I'll feed my eaglets egrets. I got royal feet for oiled eats, because being an osprey, talons tear through fish, and one can twist to hold the other way. Egg collectors one time wiped us out in the UK. We recolonized the British Isles by flying from Norway. And though predatory, my territory is only my nest, eerie breed effectively, collectively, and build my nest up yearly. I don't. No Andean condors don't. No Andean condors don't. No Andean condors don't harm livestock until their lives stop. To find fresh flesh, follow vultures who can smell. Mutualistic coexistence because they need our beats as well. We can bite through hide and even crush up bone each day we fly. Marathons around our home. What I see? Could this be someone left a fresh kill for me? So I tie that body open, but the coppers open some potions that make us pull like dominoes when we start overdosing. Oh my God. Look at her beak. Look at her booka. Haha. Chicken. Wandering jungle fowl, too tame to break 3 from A4 page lives. You take 5-day-old chicks, they can add and subtract when 6-month-old kids may struggle with that. You 7 ties with mum who, moss deaf hen 8ly, counted and chirped with her chicks before they hatched. 19 billion of us survived being crushed alive at birth, ingendercide of non-egg-providing males whose lower worth as bodily commodities means you won't even make us into stocks. All this and somehow we're the bunch of cocks. It's chickonomics. Thank you. A short poem about DNA. So DNA is denoted using 4 letters, G, C, A, and T. This poem also uses the other 4 vowels because it's very difficult otherwise. GCAT, GCAT. I get it. Ego. A cog to get goo to eat. Ice age tactic to get egg to tot to teat. GCAT to GCAT. I gag at it. Ego. Get out. Go to a gig. Catgut league to tate octet. Go to tutu. Go to agitate. To cut a gate to a tacit cage. To tattoo to catter to age tat. To actuate. A geotactic tug to cogitate. To get ego to go out. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Obviously, it's really lovely to be included in a collection like this of all kinds of weird things going on. But we're here to celebrate movement, so I'll advertise the movement of everything you ever think about as being stationary and how actually everything is traveling through space at incredible velocity. And even besides that, the earth beneath our feet is constantly moving. Here's a poem about that. It's called Roots. We talk of going back to our roots, like we will find meaning buried in gnarled histories underground. But roots are not some ancestral gift. They are alive, grow and die, daily outstretching fresh fingers to squelch through the mess of rock and death and tiny life we call Earth. Ask the trees. They will tell you roots don't just connect self to soil, they network with a whole group of fungi, hooking through the crumbly darkness, looking for precious gifts, phosphorus, nitrates. Plants communicate with plants through this mesh of white threads, and to better swap their sugars for these substances, plant roots will welcome them, to wrap them deep inside the skin of the cell. Ask the trees. They will tell you, Earth is only ever rented, and everything in it moves. If you want to stay planted, you must extend your roots. Thank you.
Yeah.
Robin Appel! It was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh, I get the good feelings. Good feelings. We're approaching the end of our evening, but we have one final performer for you in the form of Lola de la Mata, who is going to perform after a short piece of... there'll be a short video of their work. And it's adapted by... It's adapted into a motion poem. So this is one of the poems from the collection, which is actually a kinetic poem, and it's by the highly renowned Ting-An Ho, who is an art director and graphic artist based in Taiwan. Ting-An won the prestigious Golden Pin Design Award, which is a very big deal. Check it out. And of course, the motion poem is accessible in the back of the anthology. I won't ramble on too long because Lola would like to say a couple of pieces, a few words after the film. Here's enjoy the film. All good?
3 or 4 minutes? Everyone go to the loo, maybe? Sorry, it's
No,
not
everyone.
an issue.
A tech issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll do my thing then. Okay, while we're waiting, Lola's going to introduce their work because it's better coming from the artist, and then we'll play the film after that.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. I'm a behind-the-scenes type human. So, hello. So the piece is called A Crucial Matter of Balance. I have various body things that happen. So this was all to do with... Oh no. So yeah, I have very, very, very low blood pressure, and one of the things that happen is I feel faint all the time. I lose my vision, I lose my speech, I lose my body, blah, blah, blah. And it takes a while sometimes for it to come back. So anyway, so that's what the kind of body in motion, but kind of happening in an internal sort of universe world. Anyway, originally following this kind of kinetic poem was meant to be a dance performance. The text kind of reads as a score for movement, for choreography, which we only realised when I was working with a dancer. It's quite weird, it actually does. I am a composer normally, so it kind of made sense that it read as a score. Unfortunately, we got our dates mixed up, so she's flying out of the UK now. So she's not here. And during the workshops, I took some films. The quality was crap. So I used the photographs and then tried to animate them. All I could work out with free software with GIFs. So you'll see. So I've made an experimental dance film out of still images / GIFs. And then I got really good at using the software once I kind of made the film. So I've added some nice images in there. So that's kind of my thing. Oh yeah. And normally I play violin, but I had to get some nails done for a film festival for the first time ever in my life. They've really grown out, so don't look too closely. So I couldn't play the violin. So I will be playing an instrument that I learned to play 3 days ago called the auto harp. And I just found it in like a charity shop or something months ago, and it has this beautiful sound. I just didn't know what to do with it, so it's just been sitting in my studio. So that's what I'm going to be playing this evening. So lots of experimentation. There we go. I'm done. How does this turn on? Oh. This is a really good start. Oh, can you turn the lights off? Thank you.
Not sure if... Oh, it's on. That brings us to the end of our evening. It's been wild. I mean, it's been an absolute roller coaster of variety of performances, and I hope you've had a lovely time. I've had a fantastic time. Sorry you've heard so much of my voice. Thank you to the audiences who have been watching online, and thank you to all of our graphic designers who are featured in the collection, who have brought these words to life. Thank you very much. Special shout out to Angharad for being the graphic design queen who edited this and pulled all of this together and is kind of responsible for everything visual that you see and you ever see for Colliding Lines, to be honest, bar the occasional social media sort of whatever I do. So the poets who can't be here today, please give a round of applause for David and Lizzie Turner, Lauren Shaghad, Tina Lesnick, Nikki Marone and BB June. Keep it going for Isa and Eduardo at IKLECTIK for having us. Thank you. And finally, to Wes and all the Colliding Lines performers who you've seen today, thank you for having us, and get home safe.